Good morning. We're live and broadcasting in Chambers. Mr. Pepe has an FYI. I'm having issues with the monitors on the dais. So Lourdes is going to be looking at one of the screens hanging off the wall. That's why she's going to be looking at a distance when you see her. Just want to give you a heads up. Okay.
Marcus, no one really sent out the link. That's why a lot of people weren't on. They're asking to see if we can. I sent off the link that we're using now. So I'm assuming that that'll work. But just an FYI, that's why people haven't joined in.
Okay. Well, the meeting ID for this is 305-663-6338. So if you go to Zoom app and just type in that meeting ID, you'll get into the meeting. But if you want, I can turn on my computer and send the invite to you. Once again, that meeting ID is 305-663-6338 for anybody that happens to be watching the TV.
And that's the same for every meeting, every ERPB meeting, first and third Tuesday of every month.
Correct. That's the same ID for every ERPB meeting, every planning board meeting, every city commission meeting.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, that's what I used to get on the previous meeting, but it wasn't clear. Usually Nikki sends out the link and we just click on it.
Okay.
So I just send it off by email to the board. So Javier's in, Rebecca's in, so we have quorum.
Lee was here, but she is missing. There she is. Okay, she's coming in.
Morning.
Good morning, Rebecca. How are you?
Sorry, I had some computer issues.
So Javier, I think we have quorum. Let's go ahead and adjourn. Let's start off the meeting. Let's go, meeting adjourned. So we'll have quorum. We'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here I am.
Is Lourdes in already?
Yes, I am here.
Hi, Lourdes.
Good morning to everyone.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Let's do roll call.
At the monitor because the monitors on the dais are not working. So if you see me like this in an angle and looking up, my wires have not crossed yet. I am just working off of the TV up on the wall. That's all.
Let's do roll call. Staff.
Lourdes
Thomas
Cabrera.
Pepe. Thomas Pepe, City Attorney.
Lourdes Cabrera.
Marcus Lightfoot.
And
Lee
for the board.
Lee Emerson.
Lee Emerson.
Lee Emerson Smith here.
Rebecca Cruz.
Daniel Guerra and Steve Calle. Now we also have Javier. Where's Javier? You're a mute. No, we can't hear you, Javier.
No, cannot hear you. Still cannot hear you.
It doesn't look like you're muted. It's just something with the microphone.
Hello, morning.
There you go.
Sorry, guys. Had a little bit of a issue with the computer. It wasn't actually, the mic wasn't quite working.
Your screen is now frozen, but I can hear you.
That's a plus.
All right. Okay, so we're ready to go. Everybody's been on roll call. The swearing's already happened. I think, Lourdes, it's your show. Let's go ahead and start off with the first one.
Thank you, Mr. Calle. The first item for review this morning is ERPB 2021-015. Applicant Carlos Salazar, property owner Andres Paneso, location 5911 Southwest 81st Street. The request is two-story new construction final. This has been to the ERPB on several occasions. Actually, this is the sixth review of the ERPB, but it did receive preliminary back in April 5th, 2022. After it changed architects, and the project was revised quite a bit, not just the grading, but architecturally. Mr. Burton Howard Hirsch, registered architect, did bring this project, I would say, to a whole other level, and it received preliminary on April 5th. There was a response letter to the board from the architect at such time, and there is another letter dated May 19th addressing the board's comments from the April 5th, also prepared by the architect. And to confirm that, also the April 5th ERPB meeting minutes are attached. The request this morning is for final of within the RS3, a two-story new construction. The plans have also been prepared by a Florida registered landscape architect. We have the revised impervious coverage with the building, includes the building, the double car garage, covered terrace, front walkway, entry porch, the driveway in its entirety, the swimming pool deck, and also the accessory structure, the gazebo with a bathroom at the back with a swimming pool. And all the concrete slabs have been included. We have a 39.31%, which equates to 5,519. The allowable is 5,615. This lot is a size of 14,038. The building and also the FAR are within the parameters. With that said, this underwent DRC originally in November 10th, 2020. The landscaping indicates a total of 11 trees in total, but it is incorrect because there are 6 existing trees in total, which brings the total provided to 12. There are no existing trees under the power lines. As far as the tree removal that has been submitted, the records ZTR 21-07110 is dated June 2nd, 2021, with the arborist report. Ada M. Curtin, certified arborist, is attached. The mitigation canopy is approximately 8,149 square feet of canopy, which is to be removed, and that equates to 17 replacement trees that need to be planted on the site. The landscaping plan notes only 4 proposing new trees. That's the reason why we're short 13 trees. So it either revision to the landscaping plan or contribution to the city's tree fund. That's a condition in this report. With that said, at this time, the applicant is requesting final approval of the building design from the ERPB for the architectural and the landscaping as well. There are solar panels proposed for this home. That is illustrated in the elevations. And staff's recommendations for final approval with the following conditions. Meets requirements set forth in section 23.5H, dimensional requirements 2-story, the landscaping 24.5. And then, of course, the landscape plan revision to accommodate 13 of the trees to meet the mitigation, or contribution to the city's tree trust fund, and any comments and suggestions from the board this morning. Good morning. I'm not sure who is the applicant that's present to speak on behalf of this item. Anyone from the architect's office?
Yes, good morning, Lourdes. Good morning.
Vanessa Estrada, I believe, yes.
Yes,
We need to see your image.
Yes, sorry. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And in fact, we have also Jose Sarmiento, who's our partner. I'm an architect with Burton Hirsch and partner. Jose is also here. He's also a partner. And we have Lee Shan, who is the landscape architect. So,
All right.
Yeah.
Would those who are going to be speaking about this item, please raise your right hand so I can see you. Ms. Lynn, okay, and Estrada?
here,
Yes. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, yes.
And Lynn, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Chairman, they're all sworn in.
Thank you. So Vanessa, I'm assuming you want to give a quick presentation on what we changed from preliminary to now final.
Yes, so we addressed the comments we had on our last session, which were mostly revising the grading, and I can go over the comments, were very few. Revising the dimensional table, we did that also. And let me just go over it, because so restart and revise the grading plan that's been done, and I can maybe let Lee go over what she's done on the landscape plan. We revised the zoning table. We showing the underground utilities that was requested also in the site plan and the landscape drawings. What else was done? And revise the previous coverage to show the door landing that's been done also. And with this, we're including the engineering plans. That was basically what we did. And those were our comments from last session. Do you want me to go over the plans? Do you want to show the changes on the landscape art set?
No, I don't think we need to go over that. Our landscape architect is not on there. Most of us, I mean, we would just kind of follow his lead on that. So
Yeah, in terms of design, nothing changed really from the last time we saw the project. Because that is what we discussed the design, the few changes we did, opening up the living, the family room and kitchen to the backyard, and also we improved the garage facade. So we break the plane, so it wasn't such a wide flat plane. But other than that,
You have a rendering, a picture that we can see?
we have, yes. So I can share my screen. You allow me to?
I think you already have access. Try it.
Okay, sure. Okay,
The rendering, Lee, just in case it's on page 13 of the PDF package.
Yeah, but I can't see two things at once.
Oh, okay.
Thanks.
can you see my screen? It should be.
I can see it.
Okay, good. All right, so this is what I was referring to. Before this plane was a flat plane, we broke this plane and recessed that garage wall, right where the garage door is. And then in terms of floor plan or space planning, this is the other change we did, which before the kitchen was here, blocking the view to the backyard. So we flip it and open up the family room and relocated the kitchen. And beyond that, then we coordinated all dimensions, heights, windows, information. And so that was most of our effort, right, on this project. And I can go quickly over, what the plans. Interior elevation.
Love the solar panels.
Yeah, those
Nice, very
son
happy.
of fun. Yeah.
Rebecca, Daniel, would you guys benefit from a quick review of the project? Do you guys remember this project pretty well?
I remember the project. I remember being present at the meeting. So for me, I'm happy with what they presented so far. If the landscape architect wants to speak, that's fine.
Yeah. I
Go ahead, Daniel.
Lee, you wanna?
yes.
The project and then,
Daniel, you're very choppy.
Can't hear him.
Yeah. Ms. Lee, go ahead.
Okay. In regards to the mitigation, if we look at this sheet on the lower corner, I have really detailed calculation about mitigation and the tree fund that we need to contribute to. So this project started in 2020, exactly 2 years ago. And during this time, we received different directions from different reviewers. The first one, it's I think it's in December 2020, and we were instructed that we can use a canopy way to calculate mitigation. So here is what I did over here. The lot has a lot of big trees, existing trees, so we do have to remove a few, but in the end, the overall coverage is still over 50% of the lot coverage. And based on the code, we can, like 10%, we can remove it without mitigation, which is, that's the, the section 2451 is stated in there. This is the complicated calculation, but in the end, my calculation shows that we only need to, put 7 new trees in it. And the last review, I think, is in July last year, I think. Let me check the date. We did get, directions from Mr. Coral that for palms, only 30% of their canopy needs to be mitigated. So if we put all of those together, we only need 7 trees, and we put in 4 trees. And based on that, with the canopy calculation, we really don't need 17 trees over there. I tried to reach him during this time, but didn't really get through. So these are the calculation. I hope you can review it again and let me know where is the method is correct. So in the end, we need 1575 for mitigation of the trees, but I also need $1,000 because there's a big oak tree considered as a specimen. So the overall will be 2575.
Mr. Corral's the landscape architect on the board. He's not a reviewer, so his recommendations is for you guys to go take back. Once this gets once it gets approved and moves forward, then the reviewers with the city will take care of that.
Okay. I also, like the previous one was also received from, let me see the name of it. I think it's Mr. Lightfoot. That was back in December 2020. Mr. Marcus Lightfoot.
Yeah, he's on staff and he's present.
Yeah. Okay. So that's he pointed out that we can use a canopy way to mitigate for the trees.
Okay. Ms. Lee, anything from you?
No, that's it. I think for this landscape revision, we addressed everything that the board commented on. All the, we do have a lot more shrubs than necessary, but I did label out that some are optional. Those optional are to make the property looks nicer, but the owner has, the right to select whether to do them or not. Gradings are changed to help with the AC pad. We extended the grass, reduced the grass, extended the pad. Vanessa has talked about all of that. I think for landscape part, it's majorly the mitigation calculation. That's it for me.
Yeah.
Now, our board member, Ms. Lee, what, do you have any comments?
Very happy to see the solar panels. I don't really understand the tree configuration, but it looks as though they're going to have plenty of trees. Did I understand you said there's an oak that's going to be removed?
Yes, the oak is actually not in a very good condition. It's leaning over.
Oh, here
And,
you go.
Yeah, like this, the one that's leaning over the
Is
existing
it on
house
the,
already.
excuse me, is it on the northeast corner of the property, that oak?
No, yes,
You
No,
know,
not the
I rode
big
by
one.
there. I rode my bike by there this morning, so.
Not
Mhm.
not the big one at the corner, but the one that's kind of parallel to the new house.
Yeah, so it's in poor, it's not in great condition, yeah. that's all.
It's not like it's leaning over, and for the new house it has to go because it's 2-story. We cannot really
Oh,
accommodate
right.
it. Yeah.
Okay, and then there's, yeah, looks, I guess you conform to all the requirements. I wasn't here for the last meeting, so looks
Mhm.
great, looks fine.
Thank you.
Rebecca, you went already, and do we still have Daniel on?
Yes, I'm great with the presentation. Everything it pans out. Thank you for all your comments.
Okay, so I know this project's been going on, maybe this is the 6th review. I remember how it first started and what the project looks like now. It's a big difference. I guess I want to commend the architecture team for getting it back on speed. I'm sure the owner is happy that we're at this point that we can move forward on it. So saying that, do I have anybody from the board make a suggestion or a motion? Oh wait, sorry, Javier, I didn't get you. Can you hear me?
I hope you can hear me back. I don't know.
Yeah, I
if
could. You're good.
Perfect. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. No comments. I remember the project from the last time that I saw it. I've only seen it once, and it looks great. I didn't see the previous iterations of it, so I have no comment on that. I think for me, it's a go.
Okay. Can we get a motion from the staff?
Steve, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is Mariano going to be reviewing this final plan? No?
No, this is it.
Well, I guess he's seen it, right? And he gave his,
He gave his feedback. I mean, he's given his feedback the last 5 times. So, you
okay.
know. And
All
then,
right,
you know,
that's it.
it still needs to go through staff anyway. So like, you know, it'll be reviewed and make sure it's to code and all that stuff.
Okay, thank you.
Motion?
Whoa.
I make a motion for approval with staff and board comments.
Final approval. Let's be clear, especially on this one that has come before the ERPD a few times, please. Final?
I make a motion for final approval with board and staff comments.
I second. Yeah. All right, let's take a vote.
And when you say comments, do you mean staff conditions? See, there's a difference between, so everyone understands, there's a difference between comments and conditions. Conditions are required, comments are suggestions. So when you refer to staff, staff doesn't make recommendations most of the time. They usually have conditions.
So I'm assuming that we're saying condition.
We need to be clear. So is the motion with staff conditions and board?
I make a motion for final approval, with staff condition and board comments.
Okay. And then we had a second, right? Do we still have that second? Okay.
I second.
Now we'll take the vote. Ms. Cruz?
I approve for
Ms. Lee?
final.
Thank you. Ms. Lee?
Approve.
Mr. Baena?
I approve for final.
Mr. Guerra? I'll take that as approval, and I approve as well. So, Ms. Estrada, please take that to your client, and hopefully you guys can move forward on it.
Thank you. Thank you all for your time.
Have a great morning.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, Lourdes.
That's ERPB 2022-022, applicant Forever Signs, property owner Carlos Ortega, location 7025 Southwest 59th Place for Fox Miami. Request is for signage installation of vinyl. This is the first review before the ERPB, and signage typically just comes to the board once. Actually, if you recall, it's not a requirement that even the residential come before the ERPB on 2 occasions for preliminary and final. That's not a requirement in the code. This sign, one sign, is a projecting sign, and the Land Development Code, Section 24.5I of the districts describes a projecting sign as it's permitted as a replacement for any flat sign. So that's the case, and it is a projecting sign because it extends more than 9 inches beyond the surface of the wall of the building. So with that said, a projecting sign for Fox Miami, it extends 34 inches and extends vertically 74 inches down. It consists of 3 letters, approximately 22 inches in height each. It reads Fox, V-O-X. The total sign area is 17.5 square feet, internally illuminated, and it will be located on the west elevation of the South Miami Metro Rail parking station. It also does not exceed the 200 square feet in area. That's the definition and the requirement for a flat sign. And the specs and the complete photos and actually what the sign will look like, even a night view, is included as part of the photographs and as part of the package. With that said, staff's recommendations for approval with any of the board's conditions this morning. Thank you. I'm not sure who's present for this item. I see the screen far away.
So we
Is there
have,
anyone from Forever Signs from the company
Yes.
present?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. There you
morning.
are, iPhone. It just didn't have your
Good morning.
name.
Yes.
Thank you. Welcome. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
would you please state your full name?
My name is Ariane Perez.
And do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I swear.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, Ms. Perez. How you doing today?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you. So I think this is pretty self-explanatory, but if you can just give us a quick synopsis of the sign, and the purpose and stuff like that, and then we can move forward with comments.
Perhaps someone can share.
So we're here.
Someone can share the sign so we can all see what it
Yes,
looks like.
please.
Yeah, I'll share it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can you guys see it?
I can see it.
Oh, I see it.
There's a before and after photo there and also the night view. So
This is the night view. Can you guys see it or not? Is that clear to you guys or not?
in the day is dark and in the night is
White.
light and bright.
Go ahead, Ms. Perez.
So yes, like they said, this is a day and night blade sign. So in the daytime it's black, obviously, and then in the nighttime it's white. It's 7.5 square feet. That's how much it extends from the wall to the outside. That's it. Consists of 3 letters, VOX. And it's on the west elevation of the building.
And the signs around the area, that is directly within half a block, right? Like
I'm
those
sorry?
pictures. All the signs that are around the area, like the ones that you guys presented, these are all within half a block of each other, right?
Correct. Yes.
Can you scroll so I can see the picture again? Of the
Yeah. Give me
map?
one, sorry. Yeah. So that's the electrical. There it is right there.
So the box, I having a hard time figuring out where that, what street it's a box sign on 70th Street?
It says it here.
Oh.
So is it going to be on, it's on the west side, so it's going to be on 59th Place. Right here where the arrow is.
It's on the sign.
You see that, Lee? Better?
Yeah, I can see it now.
La 59. Yes, yes, it's on 59.
Yeah, it's on 59th.
Okay, sign.
Correct.
I hope it's not too bright at night. Like,
No,
Well,
just you know.
Good answer.
Yes.
I can go first if you guys want, just because I drive by there every day. Primarily, both my kids go to Mass in Key Biscayne, so I take them to the train station. It is a very modern building, so I do feel that the sign suits the architectural design of the building itself. I think it's refreshing. I think it's pretty. It's simple. A little bit of illumination at night in that area will be great. I personally think it's nice. I like how it's black during the day and white light during the evening. So, I mean, it is different than everything around that area, but it does suit the building. So, I mean, I like it.
me too.
Thank you.
I'm not a sign fan.
You're not, but you like this one?
Yeah, simple.
All right. Mr. Baena?
Maybe not at night, but.
It's,
Yeah, I also drive by there every day. I even take my car across the street to the shop. So I think the building is a wonderful update to the area. I like the building entirely, and I think the sign suits it. I do have one question. I wonder if the signage company has discussed the signage design with the architect and if they are okay with it as well.
Ms. Perez?
I'm sorry.
I believe the question was for you guys.
The question is if the architect of the building is also in agreement with the signage selection.
Yes, yes. The architect, the owner, they both are.
Okay.
Mr.
Jarrett?
Baena, what he spoke made me think of another question for the sign company, or maybe I'm not sure if she knows, but I know there is some commercial on the bottom.
Who happens to have the logo.
Will their signs be also displayed the same, or this is just for the building?
This is the name of the building, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, we speak with the owner, Carlos Ortega. So I don't think, I mean, I don't know in the future if there's gonna be any other signs. So.
Yeah, we'll have to cross that bridge.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I didn't know that was
Excuse
the
me.
name of the building.
Excuse me.
This is the building.
This is Lourdes from the Chambers.
We don't do those type of signs. What we do more is like the electrical signs for the actual, like for the mall and stuff like that, like the store.
Ms. Perez, can you mute yourself because we can hear the background?
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was not Lourdes talking. I was just wanted to shed more light on the subject since you are asking a few questions. The reason this sign is before the Environmental Review and Preservation Board for review because it is a projecting sign. And that one, if you read staff's report, a projecting sign is permitted as a replacement for any permitted flat sign, which means it has to comply with flat sign regulations, but signage area must be the same as a flat sign when approved by the Environmental Review and Preservation Board. That's how a projecting sign reads. However, a flat sign does not have to come before the Environmental Review and Preservation Board. It's not explicitly stated in the code. And therefore, to answer your question, there is another permit recently approved for signage for them as well, and it's a flat sign on the, I forget now which side of the building, but it also reads Vox,
Oh,
just so you know. But that one did not come before you.
Thank you, Lourdes.
thanks, Lord.
Mr. Baena, you went already, right?
Can you please repeat?
You went already, right? You
I
spoke.
already did, yes. I'm okay with the signage. Again, I think it goes really nice along the white line that goes up, across, and down the other side of the street. So it plays out really well. I don't have any comments to the sign.
Okay. Mr. Guerrero?
The other sign reads horizontally, by the way. Since you all are loving this one, I don't want you to hate the other one. Okay, it reads horizontal.
It might happen.
And it's in the same order, VOX, but it reads from left to right. Just letting you know. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Guerrero, are you all with us? If you're speaking, we can't hear you. Mr. Guerrero, we're not hearing you at all.
I don't see him.
No, Mr. Guerrero, we can't hear you. I'm gonna move. Yeah, you're very choppy. All right, we'll move on, Mr. Guerrero. Let's anybody else? Yeah, there you go. You're coming in now. Hello.
Oh, alien.
Yeah, I feel like I'm talking to Space Center.
I have no comments. No.
Okay, no comments. I heard no comments.
No
All right,
objection.
let's move forward with a motion, please.
Oh, shall I
Sure.
move to approve
With
with
staff conditions,
staff
right?
conditions, right?
We didn't have much comments, so I think it's just
There
staff
aren't any
conditions.
comments, so I believe you can approve as presented. There aren't any
As
comments
presented.
from staff.
There you go.
Except ERPB's comments. ERPB has no comments, then as presented.
Okay, as presented. Thank you, Lourdes. And I second that as well. So let's move forward with the vote.
Approved. I approve it.
I vote for approval.
Well, now you
I
are.
approve.
Okay. Mr. Baena, Mr.
Approve.
Guerrero, for the record, Ms. Cruz, Mr. Guerrero, and Mr. Baena all approved. Ms. Lee, it's your turn.
Approve.
And I approve it as well. Ms. Perez, you can move forward with the project.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Good
Thank
job.
you. Have a great day. Ms.
You-
Cabrera, number 3.
The third item for review this morning is ERPB 2021-010. This is the third review of the ERPB. Applicant is Journey Garcia, property owner Journey Garcia, location 5901 Southwest 64th Street. The request is one-story new construction preliminary. It was presented at the July 20th, 2021, last year, okay? Environmental Review and Preservation Board meeting, and it was denied with the following comments. Also, July 20th, 2021, extra ERPB meeting minutes are attached. Mainly, the applicant had to redo and provide a current survey that's attached now. The impervious, as we know, was also recalculated like in most cases. The calculation provided for impervious coverage is 2,673, that's 37.4%. It does not exceed the 40% maximum allowable. The grading has been adjusted, has been prepared by a professional engineer, and also we had to consider the relocation of the driveway to the side street. That has not been done. That remains a condition. The driveway remains accessible from Southwest 64th Street, which is the front yard. Another suggestion from the ERPB was to consider removing both trees at the backyard and mitigate accordingly. the three existing trees are still noted to remain. As far as the architecture, it was stated previously that very little effort in design was expressed in the plans. We now have the elevations showing an additional window on the east facade, which is a corner bedroom. So that bedroom does have 2 windows at this time. Staff's conditions from the July 20th report, that it meets section 23.5E, 1 story remains, also the landscaping portion, and the landscaping now provides 8 trees in total. We have also to propose 4 feet high wooden fence. That fence is still shown outside of the property, so that fence remains a condition because it does need to be within private property. Any and all installations of physical barriers are to be within private property. And of course, the mid-engineering plans are for the final. This is a preliminary review, although they've submitted MEPs, or have they? Hold on, I don't quite remember. I think they have submitted a complete package, yes. Landscaping, grading, and MEPs are included, although not required for preliminary review. That's what's taking place at this time. This is a corner lot within the RS3. The lot size is 7,140. As we know, when the lot does not meet the 75 feet of frontage, it can still be developed, and that is pursuant to section 20-4.8D, non-conforming lots of records. When you have a lot that fails for size, you can still have the new construction, even if the lot fails to meet the requirements. But it must meet the requirements of the dimensional requirements of the zoning district, which is RS3. And those are governed in section 20-3.5E for this 1-story design. The building is rather simple. It is a 1-story. The square footage is at 2,038, 28.5%, under the 30 allowable. The impervious is at 37.4, under the 40 allowable. Again, remember the lot size is indeed 7,140, also a non-conforming because of square footage and not just frontage. The elevations, as I stated, have been revised merely because there's an additional window in that corner bedroom, and it does have solar panels, and we're always looking out to see if they are indeed being proposed. This underwent development review committee on January 26, 2021. This has been a little bit over a year. We have the landscaping, although it's not requiring a 1-story home. We do have the landscape designed by Castro Miguel Juncal, registered landscape architect, and the existing trees are to remain 3. Because of this, obviously, no tree removal will be required. Tree preservation barricade fencing detail is also included in the plans, along with the 8 trees that are being proposed in total for this corner lot. With that said, staff's recommendation is for preliminary approval of the 1-story building and landscaping. With the staff's recommendations, preliminary approval meets set for section 23.5E dimensional requirements, section 20.4.5F4B landscaping requirements. The proposed 4-foot high fence shall be located within the subject property and submit engineering plans prior to final. I also want to state that although this has been before the ERPB a few times, actually April 6, 2021, July 20th, 2021, and now July 5th. This is it does have a new property owner, Journey Garcia. So welcome, I believe he's present. Welcome, Mr. Garcia.
Before
Present.
Environmental Review and Preservation Board. Thank you.
So, Mr. Garcia, are you the architect?
I'm right here.
Are you the owner?
Yes. I'm
Owner,
the owner.
architect, both? Oh, okay.
No, I'm the owner and the general contractor. I'm not the architect.
All right, may I swear in the witness?
Yes, please.
Mr. Garcia, do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And state your full name, please.
Journey Garcia.
Thank you.
I was looking at who was on the board. I was the only member on that board when we presented back a year ago. So
Okay.
I think that for the rest of the team, if you can go ahead and give us kind of like a background of what happened. It seems like you're a new owner. Did the plans change? Why did it get denied a year ago? And it was unanimous. So I mean, it must have been something pretty bad. So can you catch us up on where you are now and how you got to this point and all that stuff?
Basically, I wasn't present for that. I'm the owner. I bought the property about 6 months ago. I went through the review process with the engineers and I addressed all the comments. To be honest with you, the firm that actually provided the plans, the architect, they're, how could I put it so I could be a little sensitive? They're very little professional. They're not really professional. So I do agree with some of the stuff that is in there. I had to push him to address all the comments and stuff like that. Obviously, I don't want to remove any of the trees. I'm planning to keep the house. I think the trees that we have, in addition to the ones that we're adding to the site, is what's actually going to make the property part of the city. In regards to that, I mean, I know you guys were addressing the driveway. When you look at the driveway, if you're trying to do it from the side street, that's when we have that big oak tree, and it wouldn't be possible. That's the reason we decided to leave it in the same position, because at least you could come in through 64th Street. But if you just turn it to the side, it won't be possible. At least in my opinion. I'm a civil engineer, and I own the construction company. I've been doing this for a few years, and it doesn't make any sense. I mean, obviously, you guys have the final word on that. Obviously the fencing is something that we're bringing into the property. Before we actually lay out the fence, we're gonna do it through a survey. We're gonna bring the surveyors into the property and actually mark the fence. I do see that. That's one of the comments that I didn't see before. Obviously, this is a preliminary hearing. By the time we come back, I could definitely have that set up for you guys and be within the property limits. Other than that, I mean, I don't see major issues. Honestly, I don't know what happened before, but by the experience that I have with the previous owners and the architect of record, I believe anything that you guys could tell me. I mean, it's been horrible.
Oh, sorry to hear.
Yeah, it's basically they sold me the plans and everything, and when I looked at it, it's like I've been scammed. But like I said, I'm over the bridge right now. I actually brought a private provider on board. Most of the plans are already approved. I think the only thing we have pending right now is the board, obviously, and zoning. Obviously, I need to get the board across before I get to zoning. But aside from that, I mean, it should be should be the end of it.
Well, once you get approved here, then you need to go through the whole review process, which is with staff, electrical, mechanical, plumbing, structural, all that stuff. But here it's the environmental review and preservation. We just want to make sure that the building looks fine, the tree coverage is environmentally fine, all that stuff. So let's where do we start here? Let's
I mean, after
you don't have renderings, right?
I do have renderings. I think it was submitted as part of the plans that we sent. It's like 2 weeks ago.
No, I see it. It's just not very clear, and it's a sketch. It doesn't look like imagery.
No, actually, when you look at the plans, the first page, it's supposed to have like pictures, colored pictures, and that's what we submitted. I don't know if you guys have it in front of you or not.
There is a rendering on the first page. But I think for all the details of the construction, the corner, the trims, the bands, I think you should look at the elevations and start with the architecture and the landscaping comments as you normally do. Because that was the issue with this house. A lot of architectural comments from Mr. Morales, if you remember, Mr. Calle. That's,
To be honest with you, I don't remember.
you don't remember?
I don't remember this one at all.
Oh,
It's
I
been a
do.
while.
I remember this one. Actually, they've had building permits, I believe, disapproved by zoning because it has not obtained ERPD approval.
Yes, who's calling?
So,
So, okay. You know what? Let's, Mr. Baena, Mr. Baena, did you get a chance to review this as our architect?
I did. I'm looking at it. I honestly don't know what the comments were before, but I really don't have too many good things to say about the architecture of this property. I mean, I think I have to agree with what they said before. It looks like there's very little effort in doing, good design here. It's not to say that I don't like, boxes, because we do boxes every day and they're beautiful geometries done with boxes, but this is just something that someone took ornament and applied to the facade of the building. I'm looking at the details for the corner details and the stucco banding around it is just foam applied to it, and it doesn't really add anything to the building. I really feel, I apologize for the comments, but it doesn't really do anything, to that neighborhood at all. I drive by there every day. It's an empty building. I thought it was just a remodeling, but it looks like it's going from the ground up. So I would expect the architect to do something, not less than amazing in this place. Like I said, I drive by there every day. And, there's new construction coming up. I don't see any reason why we shouldn't have something more attractive than what we're looking at right now.
Can someone share the screen and show?
Yeah, I'll show.
Thank you.
Can you see it, Ms. Cruz?
And you can go to page 16, and there are some renderings there, but it looks like it was scanned
Yeah, I can't.
black and white, and you can't, maybe if the renderings were better quality, they would have been more justice to what the design of the house is, but.
Morning, guys. If I can interrupt. My name is Johanny Garcia. I'm the PM for the project. I actually have a picture in color.
All right,
of the rendering.
One second.
Mr. Garcia, yeah, give us a second. We have to swear you in. By the way, you're gonna have to show your picture.
Yes.
Your video.
Yes.
Morning, guys.
Johanny Garcia, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
That's right.
All right.
Let me stop sharing, Mr. Garcia, and then you can go ahead and share it yourself. Is that okay?
Sounds good. Thanks.
Okay, you can share it now.
So let me know when you guys can see.
You can see it.
All right. So this is the rendering before scanning the plans. This is what you have is black and white.
Where's the oak tree?
Two should be in the back.
Actually, the oak tree is, you see where you guys are, when you look at the property from view of the property, should be in the right-hand side, right in the corner. It's right behind that big palm tree. It's like to the side of the property, like almost on the corner of the property. We, in addition, we submitted some pictures of the lot as it is right now before we start any construction.
Right.
And that's what it shows, actually the trees. There's three big trees, two in the back, one in the front.
Mr. Garcia, can you focus in a little bit more on the top left picture?
I mean, to be honest with you guys, I know you have your standards for the board and everything. I do see the property has a little bit of a, it's not completely modern, but with the vents and everything that we're doing in the front, it actually looks like it's bringing something. I mean, if you walk around the neighborhood, that's pretty much what it's in place right now.
Can you scroll down a little bit?
Sure.
It's a corner lot. It's on 64th and 59th, right?
Correct.
And then on the east side, that's just the fence line, right?
Correct.
No landscaping, no. Oh, you don't need a landscape plan for this one because it's a single story, right, Mr. Barrow?
Correct.
Are there no windows on that side?
It has two. I mean, I think it's over the front and the back. It has no windows.
Okay.
On that side.
If I may say something, I think, the windows really is not going to do anything anymore to the house that has already been addressed. And sometimes if you place too many windows in a bedroom or many different walls, then it's hard to furnish the place. So I think even though, Steve, if you just mentioned that landscape is not really necessary to have a single story, the one thing that will actually bring this house, to the next level would be to properly landscape it because it's a corner lot.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, that's why I brought that up.
I mean, you can have, let's say that we move forward with the house and we're like, you know what, it's you're not violating anything. We may not like it, but if there's anything, not code compliant to it, we may not say anything about it. We can just say that we don't like it. But the fact that it's just sitting there in a corner lot with a picket fence and nothing in it, it really is an eyesore to the corner. I would suggest to bring in a really attractive landscape design to it and
Through the
see
chair, if
how
I may.
Yes, Ms. Cabrera.
There are landscaping plans by our registered landscape architect, LNP1. There is a hedge around the property line and so forth. Maybe we can turn to the landscaping page.
Mr. Garcia, can you go to that page?
These are the pictures.
Yeah, you just passed it.
Yeah.
Can you zoom in a little bit, please?
That's the site plan, the landscaping.
No, this is landscape, right? LG1?
That's the site plan.
Oh, okay.
I think from this one, because there were some comments to these plans. Let me go to the ones that you guys have that we submitted. Okay, there, guys. Thank you for your patience. Electrical. This is for the tree protection. And I think this is it.
Keep going.
Right there.
Yeah, it's page 31. Yeah.
LNP-1. That's the one.
Can you zoom in into the site there, please?
Yes. Trying not to.
So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 hedge trees, and those are number 10. Hold on.
Steve?
Yeah.
I am not a landscape architect, but based on the experience of listening to Mariano and the rest of the landscape team on the board, I know that you have to drain the property, inward, and I'm not sure if they would allow to have sort of like a canal type of design for the drainage of the perimeter of the property. I would suggest to have our landscape teams take a look at this and have their saying, because we may not have, the expertise to really comment on this.
I agree with you.
I agree.
There is a grading plan also attached, that's on sheet.
But if you guys remember, in all the houses that we've looked in the last couple of months, the one thing that they make emphasis on is on the elevation points in the property and how they want, the water actually to come in and have, areas in the property and not at the perimeter. So that's why it really brings to my attention this, and I think that they should take a look at this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So what
Is this,
so
is
why
this
don't
property
why don't
septic or sewer?
What was that?
Is this property septic or sewer?
Mr.
Sewer.
Garcia, do you know?
Yeah, the property is connected to the sewer, right under the main driveway. It has already an existing connection.
Okay,
Um,
I didn't see that. And where's the electrical coming in?
Electrical, it should be coming towards the back from the northeast part of the property. There's a light pole in there with all the connections in there. It should come through there.
That's
Ernie,
the
I know that Mariano is going to be looking at a grading plan to do something like this, so that the water is retained within the property, and not rather to have sort of like a deep point here and then come back up. So same thing in the back. They're going to be looking for an area where the water is coming actually inward in this direction and away from the house, rather than how you guys are showing it here with the hatched area around it. This may work, I don't know, but I would prefer to have Mariana take a look at this and see what they say.
I agree.
I agree with that too. Ms. Cruz, you have anything to say here with architecture?
With the comments from Mr. Ballena, I also agree that we should potentially wait to have Mariano present.
And Jose.
And Jose. But we can split it up for him. We can give him a preliminary on the architectural, and then we'll have him come back. And look, Mr. Garcia, I think that it's to your benefit that these guys review it. Unfortunately, they're not here.
That's fine.
It'll be for your benefit that you get their comments, because they really know what they're talking about grading wise to make sure that your property does well at the end.
I agree 100%. I think honestly, this is just a preliminary hearing. I think if we could move forward and pending the review or the experts on this matter, I don't have any issues actually addressing the comments and actually complying with them. I just don't want this to stall. It's been 2 years for this property. Honestly, I'm looking forward to building the property. And I mean, like I said, I'll comply with it. It's not a big deal. Grading is never an issue. Obviously, the landscaping is been addressed. I mean, aside from that, I don't see any other issues. I mean, you guys are the experts. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but also I don't want to leave it pending, like there's nothing going on.
Ernie, may I suggest that in the renderings, and I know this because I go through hearings all the time in my own projects, and every time that you do a rendering, it paints a very vivid picture of what you guys are wanting to do. And if it's not true to what you guys are doing, then people are going to have different ideas. And so when you don't have the landscape design that you guys are proposing in the plans reflected in the renderings, there's going to be a lot of questions. So if you guys could, include the existing trees that are to remain and the hedges and everything that you guys are going to be doing in the landscape, put it on the renderings, it would help a great deal the project.
Okay.
And Mr. Garcia, I know sometimes it's a problem dealing with architects that don't want to be on the job anymore, but it would be very beneficial.
No, this is one of the issues. Honestly, I'm gonna what I'm gonna do, reach out to some other. I mean, I've been building for the last 20 years. This is what I do. I'll get some renderings with everything within the plans, and I'll present them next time. Honestly, this is not like I'm not trying to work with them. It's just that it's almost impossible to work with this architect, and that's the issue that I've been having as an owner, as a builder. It's yeah, I don't have an issue showing what the trees are going to be looking, but it's one of those things that I'm frustrated. It's just what
I imagine, Mr. Garcia. Mr. Guerra, do you have any comments?
No, just want to thank you very much the rest of the board members on you know, I'd like to see a bit more detail on the rendering.
You got cut off again, Mr. Guerra. So I also agree. So let me give you my comments, Mr. Garcia. I see the plans, especially the elevation in the front. I'm just not a big fan of the older look with the way the boxing is on the corners and the way that the facade looks. It's not something that is, it just looks like an older house. And I know that you have to deal with the architect. I mean, obviously it's a matter of preference, and it's not something that I'm going to say no to, right? That's not what we're here intended to do. It's just, it would look, I think that a lot of people, and most of us on the board would probably say it looks a little dated. It just doesn't give that house much of an appeal.
Not a good dated.
Right, correct. Yeah, so thank you, Ms. Lee. Not a good dated, just 1990s type style. But you take that with a grain of salt, and hopefully you come back and we can go over the landscape from an architectural. I think that what we're proposing is to split this up, right? Let's go ahead and review it from an architectural perspective, and then we'll leave it for landscape and grading for a separate date.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I want you to be a little more. I mean, be honest with you. From the architect, basically, you guys don't like the design. That's what I'm hearing. What could I do to the design to make it happen? Because everything right now, it's up in the air. I have the plans that obviously I want to build on the lot, and all I'm hearing is I don't like the design. Obviously, if it goes to that, it goes into actually developing a brand new set of plans. Because once you change the design on the property, you're pretty much changing everything on the property.
No, that's not necessarily true, Mr. Garcia. What we're trying to tell you is the facade, not necessarily the design of the house. We're talking about the facade. So more specifically, if you can go to the renderings, and I'll be more specific to you. Good. Can you go back to the renderings?
Excuse me.
Yes, Ms. Cabrera.
I'd like to say something, if I may. I don't know how to say it softly and gently.
You can say it no matter what. No one's going to get their feelings hurt.
Okay. I like to emphasize that this project does have a complete set of working drawings, permitting.
I saw that. Yeah, structure and everything's here.
So no one's going to build by the rendering. I understand this is an architectural review board. I understand what Mr. Baena wants to see. He wants to see a rendering that truly reflects what's going to be built. But this project, the way it's handled, and since we hear that the applicant is having difficulties with the architect, and this is not the first review, and we still have concerns about the details, I suggest we look at the elevations also, and that way we see the materials of the facade. What are the trims made of? What are the bands made of? What are their sizes? What are their colors? Because they're going to build from the elevations. And typically, I get a lot of inconsistencies between a rendering and the elevations. So if they're going to revise anything and they revise the rendering, they're not going to build by the rendering. They're going to build by the elevations, and they need to be consistent. That's what I wanted to emphasize. If you just tell them, please put everything on the rendering, include landscaping, look at your rendering, fix your rendering, and they don't fix the elevations, like many times, inconsistency in the plans, then this will, keep dragging. So for Mr. Garcia's sake, I think we should look at the elevations and focus on the materials, the size, of all these bands and trims and everything that's happening on the actual working drawings. Thank you.
No, thank you, Mr. Brown. I think you're 100% correct. So in this perspective, what I was talking about is you have the corner beads on the property line, right? Like those, you know what I'm talking about, Mr. Garcia?
Yes, sir.
On the corners, you have the corner beads. I mean, I'm not, if I remember correctly, they've always been there. Not something you changed or something took out. Maybe you just want to get it through as it was. But for example, those corner beads, to me, that makes it look dated. That makes it look like, 1990s type of houses that used to be built, several years back. I'm okay with the bands. That to me specifically is what I was talking about. I don't know about you, Mr. Baiano. Like if you could give him any more specific feedback that would help him.
No, I agree. I mean, I could extend myself talking here for a while, but I'm not. But what's exactly what I was trying to say is I'm not a big fan of ornament, because the greatest challenge with ornament is that when it comes to value engineering, the first thing that goes is the ornament. Once the ornament goes, you are the essential geometry of the house, and it is what it is. There's nothing else you can value engineer to it. So if the ornament goes away, or they build a house and a year down the road the owner decides, I don't like this, I want to take it out, you end up with what you end up. And that's why, as an architect, we always try to design houses that have geometry that you cannot take away from. Once they're built, there's nothing you can do to it will make it any less. Or so it's just an emphasis on your statement, Mr. Calle.
Okay, thank you.
The elevations do not match the rendering.
Well, from the corner bead perspective and the foam, it does.
I think they do.
I'm looking at page 20, Ms. Cabrera.
Yeah.
8.4, the proportions that are seen on the rendering don't quite match the elevation.
The proportions. Okay. No, I'm just not a big fan of corner beads anyway, but that's just me.
The corbels are shown differently on the elevations as well, as they're shown on this rendering. That's why usually the rendering is artist, but they're going to be built again as per the elevations.
That's correct. Okay, so I don't. How do we proceed with this one? Do we any other comments from the team? Miss Lee, Miss Bruce, I think. I don't know if we have.
You guys pretty much covered it.
Yeah, I agree. It's a pretty simple design, but it in its simplicity, it still seems like it's dated. So, and that's just from a visual standpoint. I leave all of the other details to the experts, but visually, I think that's the message we're trying to get across. It's kind of a shame that he's literally building it brand new, and it's already starting off dated.
Okay, so you want to come back anyway, right, Mr. Garcia, so we can have reviews by our board architect and grading experts, landscape architect and our grading expert, which is Mr. Suarez. I think that what we should do is defer it, and if you want, see if you can work on some of those details if you want, but you can come back and we'll review it, collectively with the team. Does that sound like okay with you?
Basically, the only thing I hear is you find the house outdated. Obviously, I need a little bit more than that. I understand the grading and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, this is not something that is. When you look at the entire neighborhood, I get it. It's not something that you are attracted to, but the property is not. it's not, I mean, I need to a little bit more than, oh, I just don't like the house. Obviously,
I,
this is.
I gave you more specifics with the corner beads. And basically for me, that's just basically it. Like, I don't like the corner beads. I was specific, but, and so was Mr.
And that's exactly what I need. If I were to address something, all right, what should I remove? What should I work on? Basically, what I'm saying is the house outdated. And when I looked at it, the feeling that I'm getting is that you guys basically don't like the design of the property, and I find myself paying for the new set of plans. It's what I find myself into.
This is not a new, Mr. Garcia, it's not a new set of plans. It's, you know, if you have to modify just the elevation drawings, that's all we're talking about.
Okay, so we're
if
talking
you want
about,
to do that, look, we're not, it's by code. We're just giving you suggestions here. You know, it's not, you know, you have to get deferred anyway, because you're going to come back with grading and landscape, because I think it's beneficial for you, for your house. We're just telling you suggestions. This is not by code. We're not telling you what to do. We're just telling you that this is our opinion on how it would improve the property. We're not making you change the plans.
Guys, if I may, is there a way that we have a place to look at the comments, your suggestions, and also when is the next meeting? So that way we can see if we can accommodate the comments for the next meeting.
Ms. Cabrera, the next ARPB, can you answer me?
Yes, of course. The Environmental Review and Preservation Board, this board meets on first and third Tuesday of every month. Those are meeting dates. So we had one now, the first Tuesday, July 5th. 2 weeks from today would be July 19th. That's the second meeting for the month. Now, the deadline is 2 days after a meeting. So July 7th is coming Thursday by noon. Those are the deadlines for the following meetings.
What you mean deadline is that we have to resubmit in order
yes.
for you guys to review the
That's
plans
correct.
and, okay.
Yes. 2 days after a meeting, it's an official deadline for the following meeting.
Okay.
The reason I say the first and third, so that you can plan to join us via Zoom at 8:30 in the morning on that first and third Tuesday of every month.
And also,
And
where
it
can I
does not
see
break
the,
for the summer. It does not break for the summer or the holidays. So it's continuous, just on the first and third. Sometimes there are 5 Tuesdays in the month, just because there's 52 weeks in the year. But they only meet on the first and third Tuesday of every month.
I know that defer because we're waiting on the SMEs from the other 2 categories, but so far, where can I see the comments from you guys that we can address?
You can listen to this tape again. It'll be video.
There's nothing written that I can look at?
There'll be comments written, such as, you know, bringing the landscaping and the grading back, and the architecture. I mean, it just really depends on you and what you.
My best interest is to actually address as many of the comments as possible, so we don't waste time and we don't waste your time as well.
Okay, well.
Because you guys are tired of seeing this already.
I mean, Mr. Garcia, every board member has different comments because of their background. Mr. Baena pretty much gave you a feel for the architecture. This project has been before the board again, and it still has not received preliminary approval because of the architecture, because of the way the facade looks in the corner and so forth.
So that's exactly what I'm sorry.
Grading well, it's never been changed pretty much before, except adding a window. They've added coins, they removed the coins, they put the, see, if you look at the elevations, because I keep going back to them, because this board is supposed to review color, for example, and so forth, and materials. That's under their umbrella. Architectural roof shingles black. I mean, I don't know if anyone's read all these, but you know, solar panels, a black roof. Look, I'm an architect, so I'm inclined to look at it from that point of view. Okay, does it meet code? I guess, but architecturally, and there was an architect on the board that pretty much expressed the same thing as Baena. Previously, it's always been said about the, you know, lacking, what was the terms that were used? and it's never been changed. So if it's going to continue down that path, you're going to be hearing the same comments from those that have the architectural background on the board.
Okay,
The landscape architect just happens not to be present today. He has seen this home before. And the grading, as stated, you need to show a good grading plan with contour lines and so forth. That board member is not present. So Mr. Steve Calle is chair, and that's how he, that's where we're at this morning. But it's really up to you if you want to take this to another level or not, or if you want to continue down this path. I don't know how else to advise you.
Through the chair.
Yes, Mr. Pepe.
So are there any conditions that the board is making for final approval of any of these plans?
Preliminary.
Are they all preliminary? Are they all just comments, suggestions, or is there anything that if it does not change, this will never obtain final approval? So are there any conditions that are required to be made in order for this to reach final approval?
We want the landscape and grading specialists to see.
Well, I understand that. So
Okay.
you're not approving
That's
the
it then.
landscaping plans, but with regard to the other matters, the architectural, et cetera, is there anything that must be changed in order to obtain final approval?
Well, in my opinion, no. I'm not going to hold this project back because, I think it looks a little dated. Like, I'm giving them suggestions, and, architecturally, I'm not going to deny the project for them because it has corner beads and it looks a little outdated. It's up to, I hope he would take our opinion and advice, but that's up to him. Like, if he wants to continue that, I'm not going to deny the project for him for that.
And is that true of the other board members?
So I think that's what we need to vote for. Yeah.
Mr. Garcia, Yohani Garcia, do you understand?
I do understand. I just one
right.
question, and thank you for your comments, Mr. Thomas. In order for the landscape and the grading specialists to do the comments, do we have to resubmit everything again, or they can use this set of plans to get the comments, so we can get the comments?
I think that the comments have already been reviewed before, and to my understanding, it hasn't changed.
I'm talking from the two experts that are missing, the landscape.
I'm answering your question. So what I'm trying to tell you is that they've already reviewed this project before, and they gave you comments, and it hasn't been fixed.
They give comments to somebody else. Where can I see the comments so we can take a look and see what we can fix, what we need to fix?
It's in the presentation where the previous ERPB board where we give our comments.
Okay.
It's there. And so what I'm sorry, Mr. Pippin.
Yeah,
what Mr. Baena told you was that the grading doesn't seem like it's been done properly. And just to make sure that the landscape plan is, and by the way, the landscape plan, to my understanding, is not needed for a single story. But again, if you want our feedback, to make sure that you do something presentable, it's something that you can provide. Again, it's just an opinion on that part. But the grading is required. Okay. Sorry, Mr. Pepe, go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to let Mr. Garcia know or suggest that he contact Lourdes Cabrera and ask her for the dates of the prior meetings. If there were 5, then the 5 prior dates, so that he can then go on Granicus and look at and listen to those meetings so that he can get a good idea of what would be necessary.
Mr. Pepe, those are on today's staff's report. The attachments on the back on file, it dates those previous, but yes, I have a record of those meetings, dates.
Also,
Mr. Garrett,
excuse me, Mr. Pepe. Just a reminder, I don't think we did public comment for any of the items, so I might want to do it for this one as well. There's nobody in the chambers. Nobody's been in the chambers for the entire meeting, but Lourdes and I. But just want to
All right,
make you aware.
and just for the record, there's been no one on the Zoom call other than the applicants and their representatives. So, so let's go ahead and open it for public comments for this particular item. For the record,
There's no one there's no one in the chambers.
Yeah, there's no one in the chambers but Lourdes and I.
all right.
Me.
And anybody online can raise their hands. I see nobody, Mr. Pepe, so I think we're good to go there.
All right, thank you.
All right, let's come up with a motion. Seems like we're all a little confused with this one to what to do here, but you know what? I'll do the motion. I'm going to motion for preliminary approval with staff recommendations.
And board conditions.
Or
Don't we have the condition that the guys have to look at the drawings first?
Yes, correct. Sorry. And board conditions, correct. So I'll just say it again. I'm going to motion for a preliminary, no, but then it would be a deferral. Those will come back for final. And then they won't have the opportunity to go forward. They already have all the drawings ready to go. They're probably going to need to change the grading. And up to them if they want to change the elevation, but I don't know how to proceed here.
But can they proceed if they have to do all new gradings?
Say again?
Can they proceed if they have to do all new gradings?
From an approval perspective, they do. They can move forward, but from a preliminary, they can move forward.
What does Lourdes recommend?
I'm sorry.
Ms. Cabrera?
That was me. See, in this case, they've got a whole set of working drawings, including MEPs. So what they really need is final approval to move to permitting or continue their permitting, because they already started permitting even before they got to ERPB. So staff has by no means have been guiding the applicant. No reflection on Garcia's, they just started, but this process of this particular development has been all on its own. It started with permitting first, and then ERPB, and they keep submitting all of MEPs. For the record, first ERPB appearance was on April 6, 2021. Second was July 20th, 2021. And now, before you.
Oh, this is the third, okay.
The third, yes, this is the third. This
So,
is,
through the chair.
Oh, look, let me make sure Ms. Cabrera was finished. I'm sorry, Mr. Pippen.
no, so to answer Ms. Cruz's question.
3 times.
It doesn't, they need final to move forward. So if it's deferred, it really needs to be, like you stated, specifically what you want them to change. If it's preliminary, they're going to come back with the entire set of MEPs again, or they should revise something or other, but maybe
Mr.
they
Pepe?
do, maybe they don't.
Yes, yes, this is for preliminary approval. And from what I understand, there are no conditions on any of the architectural, the plans, and that the only question is as to the grading plan. And so I would suggest that you approve give preliminary approval for all of the plans other than the grading plan, if that's the only one that's in question. And that then they would come back for final on all of the other plans and come back for either final if they want to, or a preliminary on the grading.
Okay, so I believe, Mr. Pepe, yes, we've done that before. That would be separating the building from the landscaping and grading of the site.
Okay, so let's do this. I'll do the motion to approve architectural with staff comments. Just architectural. So I'll leave it like that.
And that'll be final?
For final preliminary, no, for preliminary approval. There's no seconds?
I second that.
No, it's okay if you guys don't want to. That's fine. That's why it's a board.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
I feel good about that. So we're just approving the architectural, but they have to come back for the grading, correct?
Grading and the landscape.
And this is approval for preliminary.
Preliminary.
I
But
Okay,
if you
so we
approve
have
for
a s-
preliminary, they have to come back for final in the architecture again.
Yes, they do.
So you're not approving the architecture, you give it preliminary. They have to come back.
Well, this
again.
is only preliminary review though.
Okay. Mind you, you can grant whatever you wish. What's written in staff's report is a formality. You as the board, if you don't want to see it again and you're done, you can grant final. So I don't,
Okay.
Don't we-
correct,
You just need
Mr.
to see
Butler?
the landscape and the grading. There's so much noise in the background. I don't know what that is.
What were you gonna say, Miss Ling?
Don't we need, if we give final, then they're not going to come back and be seen by Jose and Mariano.
No, we can get final for architecture, and we can defer the landscape and grading.
We can do that?
There's Mr. Pepe, right? We can do that?
Yes, you can give final for the architectural, and you can defer on the preliminary for the grading.
All right,
And
so
landscape, okay.
all right. So I'll motion then for final.
So, Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair,
Go ahead,
should
Mr. Guerra.
we withdraw all the motion? Should we withdraw all the motions we've made and then reiterate a new motion?
Yes, thank you. So I guess I withdraw my preliminary motion for architectural approval. And we'll give a motion for final architectural approval with staff comments.
I second that.
Okay, let's go ahead and take that to a vote. Ms. Cruz,
Approved.
Mr. Baena,
I don't approve.
Miss Lee,
Yes,
Mr. Guerra,
Approved.
and I approve as well. So with a vote 4-1, we'll move forward with architecture. Any motions for landscaping grading? You want to defer, right?
yes, we need to defer. Move to defer the landscape and grading portion of the project.
And I second that. So let's go ahead and take a vote on that. Mr. Baena on grading deferment with staff's comments.
Approve.
Ms. Lee,
Yes,
Mr. Guerra,
Yes.
Ms. Cruz,
Approved.
and yes for deferment. Okay, so Mr. Garcia, do you understand a little bit of what just happened? And you have any questions before we let you go?
I'm pretty well over it. Pretty much architecture is already done. Just gotta come back and present the grading and landscaping for final approval.
Yes.
Hopefully the board members that actually do have the knowledge on that will be present. We'll ensure that we'll just come back with the grading and landscaping.
Mr. Garcia, what I would do is reach out to Ms. Cabrera, try to set up a meeting with them so you have a better understanding of what they're going to look for. And maybe you can have an opportunity to talk to somebody on the staff on the board as well.
Okay. That sounds great.
All right, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Well,
Have a good one.
he really should not speak to the board members.
Sorry, I take that back. So go through Ms. Cabrera.
And what he can do is review the Granicus recorded meetings to see what they have said in the past.
Thank you, Mr. Pepe, for correcting me. That's correct.
Thank you.
All right, have a good one. All right, let's go ahead for the board. Let's go review last minutes. The last ERPV was June 21st of 2022. I was absent. Let me see, we have Ms. Sierra, Mr. Corral, Ms. Cruz, Mr. Suarez, Ms. Smith, and Mr. Burrow. So we have quorum to go ahead and approve that. The only people that can approve that are Ms. Cruz, Ms. Lee, and Mr. Barrero. No, but Diana wasn't there either. I don't think we have quorum to approve it, so we can't approve it. So let's move forward. We'll take care of it. Ms. Cabrera, can we make sure it's back on the meeting minutes for the
Certainly.
next ERPV?
Of course.
Thank you. All right, guys and girls, have a good Tuesday.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day, everybody. Bye.